Edgewater is bounded by Foster Avenue on the south, Devon Avenue on the north, Ravenswood Avenue on the west, and Lake Michigan on the east. The area was first settled in the late 1840s by Swedish and Luxembourger farmers who grew cabbage and celery in its sandy soil and then transported them to the center of Chicago via Green Bay Road, now called Clark Street. It became a part of the township of Lakeview, which was formed in 1857. In 1885, John Lewis Cochran began to develop part of the area into a suburb he named Edgewater. He purchased land and sold lots from Foster to Devon and from the lakeshore to Broadway, with two additions west of Broadway, one of which is today's Lakewood Balmoral neighborhood. In fact, Frank Lloyd Wright got his professional start as a draftsman working for architect Joseph Silby during the time the firm was designing homes in Edgewater for Cochran. This planned community enjoyed streetlights, paved roads, and electricity. It had one train stop on the Chicago, Milwaukee, and St. Paul line at Bryn Mawr, which became Edgewater's main street. In 1891, a second stop was added at Granville. In 1894, largely as a result of Cochran's initiative, an electric street railway began operations connecting Evanston through Edgewater to the cable terminal at Diversey for the trip downtown. In fact, the Edgewater Historical Society logo represents an artist's conception of a streetcar that would have run on this line. In Edgewater, the line ran on Broadway. The St. Paul ran on what is now the CTA elevated Red Line. Other landowners followed Cochran's success and used the name Edgewater in the subdivisions that they developed. Today, Edgewater is composed of several neighborhoods, including Andersonville, and there has been an increased emphasis on the preservation of historic landmarks and the creation of 3 nationally designated historic districts in Edgewater. In 1889, Edgewater became a part of the city of Chicago when the township of Lakeview was annexed to the city. The appeal of the lakefront attracted many folks for recreation, business, and dwelling. Edgewater experienced a building boom into the 1920s, including the world-famous Edgewater Beach Hotel, built in 1916. This was especially the case east of Broadway. The area attracted young people who wanted fashionable apartments inside the city limits, and apartment hotels sprung up along the Winthrop-Kenmore corridor. During the 1950s, 1960s, and 1970s, the elegant homes along Lakeshore gave way to high-rise construction, causing the population of the area to increase dramatically. By the late 1960s, deterioration had also stripped the once grand Edgewater area along Kenmore and Winthrop of its splendor. The 1970s saw a growing physical, social, and economic erosion in the area. The Edgewater Community Council was formed in 1960 by concerned Edgewater residents to help the revitalization of Edgewater. ECC, as it was known, has been involved in myriad projects and coalitions, as well as fostering organizations to address these issues. At one time, Edgewater was lumped with Uptown in city maps. ECC took the initiative to get Edgewater recognized officially with its own community area, and in 1980, Edgewater was officially designated Community Area Number 77. The Edgewater Historical Society was formed then in 1988 by a group of dedicated individuals originally involved in ECC's Oral History Project. They wished to involve the Edgewater community in the preservation of its history. The Edgewater Historical Society and Museum is now located in a rehabilitated 1926 firehouse, which opened as a museum in 2002. The fireman's pole, while authentic, is not original to this firehouse, but we have the log for the building's very last day in operation on display. Edgewater has always been quite actively involved politically, starting early with our own mayoral candidate in 1897. We've had 2 Democratic mayors, Dever and Kennelly, and 3 Republican mayoral candidates. Former First Lady and Senator, now Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, was born at Edgewater Hospital and lived on Winthrop Avenue for her first few years. In fact, her father even ran for alderman in the 49th Ward. Actually, the first woman alderperson in Chicago's history represented Edgewater in 1971, and since that time we have had women in that role every year until Mary Ann Smith retired in 2011. Other famous Edgewater residents include the Clayton Moore, better known as the Lone Ranger, Herb Block, the cartoonist, William DeVry, entrepreneur. You may be interested in other permanent display cases which show historic artifacts donated to EHS. If you look up, you will enjoy other everyday objects from our past. Enjoy our current exhibit, which begins here. As you walk around the exhibits, notice the transformation brought about by the growth of diversity in our community. If you would like, we have 2 wonderful videos on Edgewater. Edgewater Through the Eyes of Experience, showcasing the growth of Edgewater through oral histories, and Magic on the Lake, a WTTW presentation about the Edgewater Beach Hotel. If you have any questions, please ask. We're here to make your visit more memorable, and welcome and thank you for coming to our museum.